Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can we have roll call, please?
Supervisor McGlasson?
Here.
Councilwoman Campbell? Present. Councilman Toupori?
Here.
Councilman Ruthven?
Here.
Councilman Boyd?
Here.
All present.
Thank you. Our first item on the agenda is to release an erosion control bond. The planning board's asking us, it was voted unanimously at their last meeting, and they are just asking us to release it tonight.
You ready? I make a motion to pass a resolution releasing an erosion control surety bond. Whereas the planning board by resolution number 14 of the year 2023 dated October 5th, 2023 has recommended the town board release an erosion control bond in the amount of $19,700 and number 2, remaining inspection fees in the amount of $55.34 to the owner of the property located at 3 Westwood Drive, Kent, New York, as shown on the Town of Kent tax map as 19.12-1-20 and 23. And whereas the town board wishes to accept the recommendations as set forth in the planning board resolution number 14, and now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Kent hereby accepts the recommendation of the planning board and hereby authorizes the release of the remaining escrow review account and surety erosion control bonds to the owner of 3 Westwood Drive. I make this motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Our second item for the planning board is that they would like to go out to bid for planning and engineering for 2024. Chris, you're gonna raise anything
Okay.
saying that?
No, we discussed that a while back, and we're good with that.
Okay.
Anybody else?
Any other? We're all good?
You want to read that one too?
Kathy, anything you'd like to add?
I make a motion to pass a resolution authorizing the town clerk to advertise a request for proposals for the planning board consultant, planner, and engineer, whereas it is the policy of the town board of the town of Kent to periodically seek proposals for professional services, and whereas the town board believes it to be in the best interests of the town to advertise that it is seeking proposals for engineering and planning for the town planning board, now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Kent hereby authorizes its town clerk, Yolanda D. Capelli, to advertise for requests for proposals for engineering and planning for the town planning board. I make this motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. See how I took the 2 short ones right off the bat to get it over with?
Way to go, Chris.
Our next item is for Parks and Rec. You might have taken a ride down to Ryan's Field by now and seen our beautiful new entranceway. So because we closed off one of the entrance or exit, I don't know, we had 2, we have to now put guardrails up along the top to make it up to code. So we got a price, they're on state bid, so we don't have to get the 3 bids. The total is $7,500.68 from Chemung Supply Corporation. I ask that we just approve this so we can finish our project at Ryan's Field.
So
The
this
last
isn't
step.
this isn't the 6x6 wooden posts that I see along the road up above there then? This
No.
is something
You
completely
can't
different?
put wood up on the road, you have to put
Oh.
the metal guardrails, you're not allowed to.
Because I turned around in the parking lot there the other day and I saw all the wooden posts, but there's nothing in between them, it's
Mm-hmm. No,
just posts.
we were hoping you could put the wood up there because it looks so nice, but
Okay.
you're not allowed to.
All right.
They were much more than I know, because we were like, ooh, what would look the nicest? Because it just looks so pretty over there, and when all the plants are in, it's gonna just be so nice, but.
The whole project by itself came out, it's such an easier intersection to pull out of than it used to be now.
Mm-hmm.
It's much nicer. Right?
Yep. Make a motion for a resolution accepting quote for guardrail at Ryan's Field. Whereas there's a need for a guardrail at Ryan's Field, and whereas the town's procurement policy exempts from competitive bidding purchases contracts that are made under state contracts pursuant to the general municipal law, and whereas in accordance with the town's procurement policy and the general municipal law, the town board wishes to authorize the Recreation and Parks Department to accept the quote from Chemung, is that Supply Corp., to provide and install the guardrail for a cost of $7,500.68 pursuant to contract awarded by the state of New York. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Kent hereby authorizes and approves the purchase and installation of the guardrail at Ryan's Field from Chemung Supply Corp. pursuant to the contract awarded by New York State at the cost not to exceed $7,500.68. I make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Our next item is to not set the PUT hearing, we're gonna set the public hearing, there's a typo. Which also brings us to our next board meeting is supposed to be on the Monday before Election Day. But unfortunately, we can't use the courtroom that day because we have to have it set up for Election Day the next day. So we have to change that meeting, and I figured we could also pick the same day and have the public hearing that day as well. So everyone wants to look at their calendars. I was hoping we could set everything for, as soon as I find the calendar and see what day it is, for November 8th, which is a Wednesday.
That's good.
Okay.
I know. Yes. It has to be.
In the evening?
Yes. And it's also going to be our board meeting. So where we
I
can't,
don't think I can make it, but that's fine.
okay. Because we're canceling the November 6th meeting. We have no place to have it, so. Is everyone good with that?
Yeah.
Okay. At 7, yes.
What day?
It's November 8th.
It's a Wednesday.
It's a Wednesday, yes.
Oh, look, I don't see any issue.
Okay. Everyone's okay with that though? The changing the meeting and stuff? Y'all understand why? Okay. Okay.
They're using this room for
Well, we ha-
election. And they set up
election
the day,
day,
they bring everything
Adam
in and
has to
set it
set it
up the
up
day
during the
before.
day on Monday, so we can't use the
I
room.
understand.
Probably not, but they're usually in another room.
The machines usually go in there, so it's fine if they're in there being stored, but it's when, the whole room is set up, all the chairs are moved out of the way.
We can put our 8 chairs across the front here. You guys can move in closer for the meeting.
All right.
Good? You two want to do it? You want me to do it? All right, I make a motion to pass a resolution. Pass a resolution providing for a notice of public hearing. What resolution number is it, Lana?
We're
We
not
don't-
gonna put a number.
Are you
We're not
okay?
gonna, this is it, yeah.
Okay.
Be it resolved that pursuant to the town law, section or subsection 108, the town board of the town of Kent will hold a public hearing on the preliminary budget for the calendar year, or the 2024 calendar year, and be it further resolved that copies of the preliminary budget be laid upon the desk of each member of the board, and be it further resolved that the town board will hold a public hearing on said preliminary budget at Town Hall in the town of Kent, New York, at 7:00 p.m. on November 8th, 2023, and be it further resolved that the town clerk publish or cause to be published the attached public notice in the official newspaper of the town of Kent of said hearing at least 5 days prior hereto. I make this motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. I didn't say aye.
You're
Aye.
fine. Our next item, that's why
You
I'm
didn't say
sure,
nay either, so
You're
we're
right.
good.
Yeah, okay.
because I'm sure why everyone's here, we're on to the soil removal and excavation. Who would like to start?
We can
Do
go.
we want to start first?
I know there's a few minor issues to go, but I don't think there's enough to make us hold up setting the public hearing tonight. We can do the de minimis little issues. So there's some punctuation issues that were brought up from some review and everything, but there's nothing that changes the overall meaning of the law at this point that I believe.
Right.
No, we decided to start over again, even though it's our opinion there are no substantive changes in this final draft. We thought it would be best just to be extremely thorough and start a new public hearing again. So for the purposes of tonight, it's really just to introduce the final draft and set the public hearing. If you want to discuss it in depth, you're welcome to do that, but the purpose is to set the public hearing.
Right.
So the same final draft and put it on the website. But are you gonna make those?
Yeah, I think they can be made within a day.
The changes have been made.
There- Last night I was told there's still some grammatical and punctuation
Oh,
errors
okay.
that were pointed out that we want to just correct.
950
Yeah, then we want to drop one of the totals from 1,000 to
Okay.
950 on one of the, you know, how like we did the 750 to 725, we want
Okay.
to drop one of them.
Gotcha.
But they're minimal issues. I think we could have it done in one day and put final draft on it and have it, don't you? mean,
I think
put
so. I
it-
think if
put it
they're
out.
minimal, I don't see it being.
Right, so then you'll have the public hearing, and we had some, there was just one thing where it says, you may have a public hearing, I'd like to say, you will have a public hearing, it says may.
Okay, so that's a change you're requesting.
Right, but that's, I don't know if
Additional.
you want me to say it now, or you want me to say
I
it now?
think it's
I think
best-
you should come up and say
Yeah,
it
I
now,
think you
that
should get it
way.
on record right now. And Julie Boyd
have
was
to
the
keep
one that
going
said
back
she
and
found a
changing
couple
things
grammatical
and
errors.
stuff like that, so. Okay, so the one was, they're changing the number of the tons. Okay. And, on page 5 of 13, number 3, where it says the town board shall give due notice and may hold a public hearing on a special use permit for excavation.
I'm so-
Page 5, down on number 3. Oh, are they?
7.
It's under application.
Page 5 literally has 2 lines on it, Kathy.
Okay.
Town
Yeah,
board action.
just above that, at the very last paragraph, it says, the receipt of the application, the planning board, the town board shall give due notice and may hold a public hearing on the special permit for excavation.
Section 3, last line.
Correct.
I'm trying to remember, there may have been a reason why we left it that way. I have a vague memory of discussing that with Bruce or John at the time, but I honestly do not recall if that was the case, what the reason was.
And just a question of, does this replace, I guess this would be for Nancy, does this replace the special use permit that's in the code, or this is just for excavation? Because there's already a special use
It's just for excavation.
just for excavation. Okay, just wondering. Thank you.
By the way, in our resolution, we need to fix the title.
Yes, we do. Soil removal and excavation. Soil removal and excavation. That's, the resolution is wrong.
Any other public comment? Okay. It's good to get this all now, that way.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
On my copy, page 2, on the line, it says, activities associated with the processing of such materials if permitted. And what circumstances would permit the processing of materials? If they're gonna keep it on the, but that still goes under if they keep it on the property, move it.
I'm sorry, I can't find, what line are we on?
Under, it's still definitions,
Yep,
under minor extraction,
Oh,
soil,
okay.
rock, overburden minerals, and there's a typo there, I think we got that, form the earth, from the
Yes,
earth.
from the earth, correct,
Okay.
yeah.
And the removal of such materials from the site through sale or exchange or for commercial, industrial, or municipal use. Activities associated with the processing of such materials, if permitted, must comply with the conditions of any permit granted in accordance with this chapter. And this is where I kind of do the rabbit hole thing, because we also go on to say that mining is not permitted, permissible in the town of Kent. So that kind of was like, where would they be? So my question is, what circumstances would allow that to be permissible?
I think Kathy's right. I think it's for use on site.
Is that what
That's what it
it is?
says for.
Only for
Plus,
processing.
that's just a definition that says mining is prohibited. But if you're doing rock processing, they gotta crush it up small, but
Even
it's
if they're
supposed to
gonna
be
use it.
moved to the site.
Moved within the
Stick
site,
within the site.
within the site,
Used
okay.
on the site.
And those quantities moved within the site are still the quantities that we spell out?
We haven't changed them.
That's fine.
Anybody else?
Everyone's good with-
We're good?
Okay.
Who wants to do this one?
All right, well, do we have a local law, or is it not? Leave it
Now we
blank.
have a blank.
Making a resolution to set the public hearing.
Okay, so I'm not putting, okay,
Just your name.
yeah.
You got it changed down there to soil
Yeah.
I got
removal and
that.
excavation, okay.
Okay, I make a motion to adopt a resolution providing for a public notice and hearing. Be it resolved, the local law amending Chapter 63 of the Town Code entitled Soil Removal and Excavation is hereby introduced by Jorma Townpori as introductory local law, no, right?
We leave it blank.
Blank, of the year 2023 before the Town Board of the Town of Kent in the County of Putnam and the State of New York. And be it further resolved that copies of the aforesaid proposed local law, which is attached hereto, be laid upon the desk of each member of the Town Board. And be it further resolved that the Town Board will hold a public hearing on said proposed local law at the Town Hall in the Town of Kent, New York, at 7:00 PM on
Wednesday, November 8th.
Wednesday, November 8th, and be it further resolved that the town clerk publish or cause to be published a public notice in the official newspaper of the Town of Kent of said public hearing at least 10 days prior hereto. I make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We're gonna keep that open through the 8th and close it on the following
Yes.
meeting? Okay.
Oh, because you won't be here that meeting.
Does it need to be sent back out to the adjacent municipalities, or did the previous round suffice for that?
We should.
Let's pass it back around again. Okay.
It's not in our zoning code, is it?
I haven't sent it to anybody.
So, no, it doesn't have to be sent, it's not part of the zoning regulations, so we don't need to do that. We don't need to circulate it to the adjoining municipalities.
I thought it had to do with secret. That was something that we got from Bruce last time, so,
I'll double check with Bruce.
yeah, I would.
One step closer, guys.
We're almost there.
Can't wait.
Our next item is we have a few updates and information on some grants. I invite Councilwoman Campbell to discuss these.
Okay, so, first of all, there's a major Department of Transportation grant opportunity, the Transportation Alternatives Program, TAP, coming up. Our supervisor and I think Superintendent Othmer will be attending a mandatory meeting on this. And we are going to work to put together an application. This would be, once again, an opportunity to try to get funding for constructing sidewalks and other improvements in the Lake Carmel area for walkability and safer transportation. So I think we need, there's no formal resolution on that, but we would definitely want to have a vote by the board, just confirming that we're going to pursue that opportunity. So maybe we should handle that first. So I make a motion for us to pursue applying for Transportation Alternatives Program grant through Department of Transportation for fiscal year 2023.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. And we will be back in touch. I think we'll be able to use some of the information from our narrative from New York Forward to feed into that application. And, you know, we also will be working to get sort of a sketch map of where those improvements would go. And there may be some cost associated with that. So just want to make the board aware of that. I'm not sure, haven't gotten an estimate yet from the engineer about what it would cost to develop that sketch. So I'll be back in touch about that. Meanwhile, we had been talking, I guess CREST funding is next, we had been talking about a second project for this something of a windfall, the 2022 CREST funding that we did not know that we had. We voted last meeting to apply for funding for the Nimham statue, which would end up here at Town Hall, because if we do it through the Senate CREST funding, it has to go on town property. But then there was a question about the other project, because you can have two projects, each $50,000. Now, meanwhile, we had been talking about a couple of things related to natural resource protection and mapping. So we had a proposal for a groundwater study and protection plan that would include digital maps. And we also have a proposal to take the 30 or so maps from our natural resource inventory, which are GIS maps, and to integrate them into a user-friendly website that anybody could go in, including planning and zoning board members, building department, as well as residents, enter your parcel number, and you could click on all of the different layers for these different maps. So we had been talking about doing that as sort of a website. The town of Gardner has one that's a very good example. And so if we sort of bundle those two projects together, that comes in a little bit over $50,000. And we've gotten word from the senator's office that that would be an acceptable project. As part of that, we would include a license for the Esri GIS software, and also for a fairly nominal sum, we could integrate those maps also into the ImageMate software that's currently being used in the assessor's office. So I would like to propose that the board authorize us to pursue that as our second project for 2022 CREST funding. I make that motion, and all the information's in the backup.
And I'm sifting through the backup here. You said it's a little over the 50,000, but I don't see the actual total.
59,
Where's it?
it's right here.
I had put it in an email.
Okay.
To
I
the
was looking at
supervisor?
the Labella stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
think-
so when you put it all together, the mapping
is,
tool
okay.
itself was estimated at $22,000. This would be with Labella, and of course, we will go for competitive bid. We may be able to get it done for a lower price. The groundwater study and maps, and we had previously authorized ARPA funding for the groundwater study, but in this case, we wouldn't need to, was $33K. The Esri software is $3640. And then integrating with the other software that the assessor uses is another $1,200. So it came in just under $60K.
That's a lot. Okay. That's a lot of stuff, not a lot of money. That's a lot of stuff for 60K.
Right. Our real goal here is to make sure that everything that we've generated, that's been funded through the Hudson River Estuary Grant for the NRI is actually going to be eminently usable, not just a document that ends up on a shelf. Comment?
Sue Coxburn. The last 3 pages of your backup, it has an address, Land Use Department, 41 Kent Green Boulevard, Kent, Connecticut. Is that correct? Or should it be 25 Civic Trust?
I missed that in the proposal, so somebody obviously got a little confused.
It's on all 3 pages, so if you want to correct that first before it gets into the one.
Maybe giving our
State.
money to the wrong
Yeah.
state. They don't need it over there, do they?
Oh, this was the quote we got for the Esri software. Yeah, so they clearly did not know where we are. I did not see that. Not a problem if we do end up purchasing it, it will definitely come here. But you have a good eye. What was that?
Phone number,
I have no idea where they got that number.
8609. I'm going to call it.
I'm sure it's someone from Kent, Connecticut, from the town board there. It
Maybe they have an Ann Campbell in their administration. Right. I have a
But they got your
doppelganger,
email, right? And
clearly.
the email says Kent NY, so
So I must have a doppelganger. Interesting to know.
I think Kathy just asked if this was a matching grant or not, and this
No,
is
there's no
not.
match
No.
required for the CREST funding.
There's just gonna be a $9,840 portion that the town's gonna pay, but it's not a match to the crest. No, it's just,
But we may not if we can get some
yeah, I
of
think
this.
that's not without going out to bid. We may
Right,
get it
so it
lower
could
than
be lower.
the original estimate.
Yeah.
We keep adding up.
Yeah.
Well, to be honest, I have a lower quote from another organization, but that brought it in under 50K, and so to get it through the senator's office, it has to go in over 50K. And I did ask the question, what if we spend less and don't spend all of the money that's allocated? And they said it just goes back to the Senate, it's not a problem. So I don't think we'd be on the hook for that 10,000.
Just out of curiosity, is it just one or is it a top thing? Can residents generate a topic right from that?
The Natural Resources Inventory has about 30 different maps, huge number of, everything from topographical maps to sensitive natural resource areas, biodiversity areas, streams, wetlands. What's that? We don't actually have a map of invasive species per se, but I will be talking in a moment about some grant opportunities in that area as well. So.
You could probably just color in the whole town of Kent for invasives. They're everywhere.
Yes.
But it's a project that'd be very helpful if there's pollution found in the water. We'll be able to
Yeah.
target, where it originating, where it may go to, the extent of it, so.
Yeah,
it's well spent.
there is a county-generated groundwater study and plan that you may know about, Kathy? Yes, and what we were advised as part of the NRI development process was to do a more detailed study. And Sean, you'll be pleased to know that it will involve well driller records. Woohoo! So,
They don't have enough, you gotta drill more wells.
Yes.
I mean, every single resident in Kent is on well water, so that's really a critical piece of information.
yes, and if you're watching the grant opportunities come by, there is a program, the New York State Drinking Water Protection Program, that would provide services at no cost to the town, but they only do it for municipal water systems. So we would have gone through a very long, protracted process to have a plan to preserve our 2 water districts and nothing else in the town. And that would also have delayed this other project. So we made the decision some time ago when we voted initially to use ARPA funds for the groundwater protection plan that we were not going to try to use the drinking water protection plan. So if you read about it and wondering why don't we do this free thing, that's why. Okay. So I put a motion on the table to
Second.
go after this.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Okay, and then I do have some information about a couple other grant opportunities. The timing is going to be tight. I hope that we can still go after these. The Lakes Committee was made aware of them some time ago, and I just heard back from Bruce Barber that there is interest. Now I'm trying to pull up the email. So one of them was to do sort of an engineering analysis of pollutant issues around Lake Carmel. And let me just try to find this here. I don't have a lot of clarity yet on what this proposal will look like. Hang on, just trying to pull up the other attachment, sorry. But it is in the Rapid Invasive Species and Aquatic Response Program, but there's one program that would involve sort of a mapping and analysis around the lake and to try to prevent algal blooms and things like that. And I believe the ballpark number that Bruce is talking about is upwards of $40,000 to $50,000 for the whole program. And there is a 25% match that Lake Carmel would need to pay. So that's one opportunity that they're
That's got,
interested in going
and
after.
that should go through the Lake Carmel Park Advisory Board. We should put that in front of the Lake Carmel Park Advisory Board.
Unfortunately, they didn't meet yesterday,
I know,
and I
but at
think,
least we can put it out through them via email and get some response from them.
right. So the challenge here is, what Bruce told me yesterday is that if we vote on it tonight, then we still have the possibility of applying before the deadline of November 1st.
Okay, so let's vote on it tonight. It's like any other grant, we don't have to take it if they don't want to do it.
Right, and in fact, if they don't want to do it, we don't have to put the firm through the process of putting in the application. Again, I apologize for this being so last minute. It's not the way I like to do things, but this is where we are. We kind of don't want to miss out on the opportunity. So if the board is willing to go for that, again, we will follow up with the Lake Carmel folks
Yep.
and decide whether or not to proceed, hopefully soon. When are they meeting again?
They canceled last night, but I didn't see a reschedule, so probably it's gonna skip a month, don't you guys think? Bobby, you would know. Yeah, so
Then we
probably
definitely have to put
November.
it out on email, because the
We
deadline's
can
in
do
2
that.
weeks.
Trust me,
Right.
they email a lot.
Okay. Is that something that, I don't have that email distribution list, can one
Yes.
of
I
you
can-
take
I
care of
can-
it?
yeah.
Okay. I can forward this to you. I think you may already have it from Bruce.
Just forward it to me again, and then tomorrow morning I will make sure, actually,
Okay.
when you send it to me, I can do it right now.
And then the other one is Invasive Species Lake Management and Implementation Program. And he didn't have a specific amount of funding that he thought that project would take. But he did note that under the header of aquatic invasives, they're also talking about algal blooms now as part of this. I think once again, it's a 25% match. And again, it's like a wild card. I don't know what the budget amount would be. So maybe I can try to get a more concrete number from Bruce in the next day or so, and then we can email about that as well.
Okay. And the reason I wanted to go through the Lake Carmel Park Advisory Board is we are paying a lake manager that, you know, we're dealing with these things with, and that person, that contractor we're paying should be very involved in everything we're doing on that lake. That's my feeling behind it.
And the impression I get from Bruce is that the interest in these applications actually arose from conversations with that lake manager.
Okay.
So I think they're already in the loop, but we still should follow up. All right, so do you want to vote on proceeding on those?
Yeah? Yes.
All right, so I move that we proceed in this sort of stepwise fashion on these 2 grant opportunities for Lake Carmel.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, and then the last one is the energy benchmarking resolution, and I have to apologize. I finally pulled this up and realized that it's very involved. So just as a discussion item, if we're going to pass this resolution to engage in a benchmarking program on the energy uses of our building, usage, which will get us a $5,000 grant from NYSERDA, because it will be our 4th high-level action for them, we do need to identify a responsible department that would oversee this benchmarking process. Basically, what it involves is getting fuel records from all town buildings that exceed 1,000 square feet, feeding them into a calculation program, and again, NYSERDA or Hudson Regional Council supplies assistance and will do some of the buildings for us. But we do need somebody who would be responsible for tracking this policy, making sure that the records get supplied and so forth. I don't view that as a problem, because when we did the greenhouse gas inventory, everybody involved in the town was extraordinarily helpful in providing records. But we would have to designate a department. And this is about a 4-page resolution that we're not going to read at a meeting. So I think what we need to do is have a shorter version of this with an attachment and get it into the agenda for a future meeting. But I would like to discuss who might be the responsible department.
Supervisor. So the building
Tara?
department's out.
Understood.
Department's out.
We
Police
can send it
department's
over
out.
to Kent, Connecticut.
Oh, yeah, the other Ann Campbell in Kent, Connectic's
Yeah,
got
Yeah,
it.
land
she wants to handle it.
I hear the recreation director doesn't have enough on her plate.
She needs a 3rd job, yeah. All right, well, we'll
We can
kick this
figure it,
around.
we'll figure it out, Ann.
Okay,
I
so
can-
I'm going to defer this yet again. I'm embarrassed, but there we are. Okay, that's all I had. Thanks.
Okay. I make a motion to add an item to the agenda for highway.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unfortunately, in the highway department and our municipal repairs, we are very, very shorthanded. We have someone out on disability, we have a spot open, so I want to temporarily hire a mechanic's helper just to get us caught up and until the person comes back or is not coming back and we can fill the position.
Okay.
So I'll just do it. I make a motion to hire a temporary mechanic's helper. Do I say the name of the person? Because we have someone in mind.
If, you might as well.
I make a motion to hire Christopher Carroll as a temporary mechanic's helper pending background check. Make that motion.
Do you want to state
Start date?
salary?
We have it on the list for
Oh,
because it's a Teamster, so.
We need to set a start date?
As
Just-
soon
just
as
pending
the background
ASAP?
check comes back.
Okay.
Wait, hold on, Tara, when do you think that'll be?
By the end of the week,
Okay.
So
So-
Monday?
it's been assigned, I'm just waiting for the return.
Okay. Do you think we'll have it back by Friday to have them start Monday? Okay. All right, so
Perfect.
as of, what's Monday's date?
October 23rd.
Thank you, as of October 23rd, 2023. I make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. You're up.
Well, I ask the board to approve the following vouchers for October 17th, 2023 that were over the threshold. Capital Markets Advisors, $3,500 for bond anticipation notes. Shamong Supply, $4,384, let me repeat that. $4,348.68 for panels and posts for recreation. Commissioner of Finance, $3,191.04 for 2023 tax rolls. Custom Bandage, $4,179.73 for tires. Global Montello Group, $5,498.37 for gas. HO Penn Leasing, $11,078.27 for equipment rentals. Hogan Rossi and Liguori, $3,993.97 for October out of retainer. $5,416.63 for September legal services, $5,416.63 for October legal services. Magnify MS, $7,388.96 for October network services. Metal building restoration, $14,750 for requisition number 18. Nicomco, $2,972 for October two-way radios for the police. New York State Department of Civil Service, $248,283.55 for October health insurance. Peckham Industries, $60,616 for binder, $14,796.69 for blacktop. Rings Squared, $3,341.63 for October telephone services. Toshiba Business Solutions, $2,000 for copier court. Town of Kent Municipal Repairs, $14,777.15 for chargebacks for July for highway. $19,140.41 for chargebacks for June for highway. Wind Waste, $9,724.97 for Lake Carmel garbage, $9,020.85 for Lake Carmel garbage, and we're adding Calculated Fire Protection Company Incorporated, $8,430 for the library antifreeze, and we're adding Royal Carting, $5,041.54 for the recycling garbage. I ask the board to approve as read.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I actually have no announcements tonight because we have a lot of things going on for rec for pumpkin carving and stuff, but we're sold out, so.
All right, I'd like to talk a little bit about the Lake Carmel Community Center. There's been some innuendo going around that we're not being forthcoming with everything, which is, here it is. We're gonna put it out on the website. We got the engineering report back for it, for the complete demolition of the existing building and new construction. It came out to $3,623,750 to redo the existing building, take out all the asbestos, and rebuild basically the existing structure there. It's $3,017,001. So the reason we haven't thrown this out to the public is we don't think either one of these numbers are even remotely realistic, and we've been talking internally that we have to go a different direction. We have to, and I think Ann brought up, kind of did some math last time we were talking about the square footage that we really realistically need, and that we can shrink this down and try to redesign this thing. Jamie's been talking right along that we can look at options such as a mobile structure,
Like a modular.
modular structure that we could put on site, or we've talked about a pole barn structure that we could insulate and put on site. So it's not that we've been hiding these numbers, we just didn't feel that they were worth putting out there. But we'll put them out there if people think we've been trying to hide them, which is ridiculous. They'll be on the internet tomorrow. The asbestos removal as part of the demolition for the existing building for new construction when it came out. Oh, I'm sorry.
I think it was different.
It is. Asbestos removal is built into both of these, gotta remember that, because we're gonna take the asbestos out whether we replace the existing building completely or we redo it.
Redemo
But
it,
just,
yeah.
but just for the selective demolition, which would be removing the asbestos and stuff, it's $100,000 on this. So these are the engineering reports from our engineering company, both options that we asked them to do. They came to us toward the end of the summer, and we just been kind of looking at them. It's not that we're hiding anything here. We'll put them out there for everybody to look at. All right? And the other thing, good news for the Lake Carmel people, on Thursday, our engineers will be down at the walking bridge doing some core boring to see what the ground is underneath there, so we can start doing the actual engineering design of the abutments to set the Buffalo University Bridge on it. So we'll be down there on Thursday morning, hopefully doing core boring. So one more step closer there. All right? That's it for Lake Carmel. That's all going toward the FEMA expenses. It seems like it's all built into it. Those are some other numbers we could put out there. I haven't had a huge chance to review them, but we did ask for everybody kind of remembers that when we're dealing with FEMA, we're asking for the replacement exactly the way it is costs that the engineers have given us, or the improved costs that it'll help do it. So we asked for that breakdown, and they've given us a spreadsheet that shows that for all the projects in Lake Carmel, the cost of each one, and now they are working with FEMA with those numbers to see what the coverage is, because FEMA will pay a percentage of the improved structures, which we felt was important to do on everything. Everything we want to do, we want it to be better than it was before, because we're getting these 100-year storms every couple of years now, and it doesn't pay just to put it back in the way it was. So we can put those numbers out. I have no problem sharing those spreadsheets out there too. There's nothing we're hiding with that either. It's big numbers. Everywhere we look, they're huge numbers. Yeah. That's it.
I have a couple, always. So Conservation Advisory Committee is hosting another Star Party. We had that, I believe it was last year. I can't guarantee that we will have a SpaceX rocket launch light up the sky the minute the party begins, the way we had last time. But there should be lots of interesting astronomical events to see. We'll have the large telescopes set up. It's going to be Saturday, November 11th. And then the inclement weather, including if it's too cloudy, would be Sunday the 12th, 5:00 p.m. here at Town Hall. If you get here at 5, it won't quite be dark yet. The astronomers will kind of introduce the equipment and talk about what we're going to do. And then as it gets dark, you'll get to go around to the different telescopes, and they'll explain what we're seeing. In addition, I want to highlight events at the library, as always. I mentioned last time the Pumpkin Glow is coming up on the 23rd. You can bring your carved jack-o'-lantern, dancing, singing, crafts, cider and donuts. Costumes are encouraged. That's 6 o'clock at the library. And then on the 24th at 4 o'clock, and I just realized I can't come, which is too bad because I wanted to, they will have the Great Give Back spring bulb planting at the library, 4 o'clock. Register in advance if you'd like to come and help plant some bulbs for the spring at the library. And then another planetary event on October 30th, which is a Monday, 6 o'clock p.m. Information about the NASA DART test and so forth. This is Dr. Michael Zeilhofer, the Planetary Defender, another event for which registration is required. And I also wanted to mention, I think they're doing a special book sale, Veteran Appreciation, in their book sale. This is going to be 10 to 2 on November 4th. You can fill a bag for $5 for military veterans. And that's all I have. Thank you.
I am actually just looking up some dates here. So Friday, October 27th from 6 to 8, there will be trunk or treat happening at Kent Town Hall. They are asking for donations for Paw Safe Animal Rescue. So if you want to bring your kids, just bring something to donate to Paw Safe Animal Rescue. And then it is the Lake Carmel Fire Department. Oh, I'm sorry, Kent Fire Department, I'm
Kent
sorry,
Fire
Kent.
Department, yeah. The other one, we
I'm
don't know
looking
the
up.
exact date, but I can tell you that the Putnam County Health Department is offering another rabies clinic
Yes.
on the weekend of the 6th, 5th,
So he's
probably
making me
like the
look it up.
4th or the 5th of November. It's the very first weekend in November that it's going to be at the Veterans Memorial Park where they've been doing it every fall. They're doing the rabies clinic again. I got to imagine it's on a Saturday, so what's that, the 4th, I think? Yeah.
The last one they have on their website is March 25th, 2023.
It's definitely coming. It's on my calendar at my work.
I can't, yeah, this is the last one they have up there. They
Okay.
don't have a new one up there, so we're not sure. Okay. Any other?
Yep, Kent Countryside Nursery is doing a Halloween bash for the kids on October 21st, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's like a trunk or treat. So we get the kiddies come out and do a little Halloweening.
Sadly, I think the weather this coming weekend is not supposed to be good again. I heard a rumor today, although I haven't seen it officially, that the Cornell Cooperative Extension's Fun on the Farm at Tilly Foster, I think they're gonna make the decision to cancel it. It's gonna be too muddy. But I haven't officially seen that come out, just through discussion right now. It looks like it's going that direction.
Okay, any public comment?
Bye, Bill.
Oh, I thought he was coming up, right? Where's he? Oh.
Thought he was waving
have-
goodbye.
You have 2 minutes.
Bill Walters, live in Lake Carmel. Noticed in the last, as you stated earlier, we've had a lot of rain, particularly since July. Some of them are outstanding amounts of water we've been getting. Though I've noticed, and one of the residents came to the building department and even went to the building planning department to try to find out what can be done. The creek that runs down along 52. It's flooding her house. The last storm, not this weekend, the weekend before, where we got to 4.5 inches of rain, I stood out in front of the old town hall on Route 52 where the police station was and watched water encompass those 2 houses across the street where it was about a foot thick of water just on all 4 sides. I'm wondering if there's anything that can be done on the lake side between Route 52 and the lake. I don't know whether there's restrictions in there, something's slowing up that stream, causing the water to back up. I mean, granted, we've got a lot of water that's coming out of the sky, but in the last year, we're seeing more and more of that stream backing up. The state's been doing some work up past the firehouse because it's been flooding out, but that whole stream needs to be worked. State says it's not theirs because it's not on the highway, it's just off the highway. So that leaves the property owner responsible. But on the other side of the street, I believe, I'll check tomorrow, I believe it's town property. There's got to be a restriction there somewhere. With all the trees, with all the rain we've had come in, it's got to be raising that stream bed up, to making it back up.
So, Bill, why don't you do some investigating into it and see if you see something down there? Now, I do know that we haven't executed it, but we did have some grants for stream bank stabilization that Bruce Barber was working on it, and they were for the streams coming into Lake Carmel.
Right.
So that could be where we could muck them out and rip-wrap them to help stabilize them and stop the silt from going down through, but we gotta find out what it is first.
Right, I
It
mean,
could be, all it looks like it's all phragmites and invasive species that are growing up, and they're
yeah,
horrible.
I mean, I know one of the houses, I mean, they lost a lot of mulch, wooden mulch, that went down into the stream that went down towards these folks' houses. It had to settle somewhere. But I know there's a lot of houses that are being affected by that stream, and the state highway says, not us.
Yeah.
But, I mean, these people are being affected. They're talking about, possibly raising their houses up to save the foundations and stuff, and that's a lot of money.
Sure.
So I'll do what I can to investigate further, but see who's got the property and stuff like that. But I think we need to take a look at that.
Yeah.
I may not,
Okay, I was on the Zoom. I thought you were on it.
I did speak to Jamie about it. Yes, right. But what Bruce and John were telling her was that upstream, it is clogged with wood and sticks and everything like that, and because it's private property, they would kind of need permission for maybe the DEC to clean it out, and so she was wondering how to go about it, and they said write a letter to the DEC, and I suggested maybe asking the town board to also support a
All right,
letter
so
of
just to
support.
clarify, you mean the DEP, it's not
No,
city property?
DEC.
The DEC?
The stream on 52 is designated by our maps as a DEC.
It's a DEC restricted stream?
Yep.
All right. So,
this water
now
goes-
let's
this-
back up on the question. If it's plugged up upstream, why is it flooding the stuff downstream? I think what Bill's saying is plugged up after the fact in the lake area so that it's backing up to their houses.
Okay, but what Bruce was saying, he believed, because he went out there, so you might want to talk to him, but that there, it was clogged upstream with branches and debris.
Correct. I went out with them on that inspection. That's like 3 houses up from where they were, and there was some branches and stuff like, and that property owner has been working on getting that done. I really believe the problem is further down the stream. That end of the lake, as far as I've been here, has never been dredged. Never.
It looks like it's never been
Right.
dredged.
I mean, as soon as they open the gate up, that end of the lake is dry now.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been here since 1969. That used to be able to go fishing out there. Now you can walk across it. You know, there's a lot of silt that's built up over the years.
We can take a look at it.
Well, there's 2 stormwater.
Yeah, but they ain't doing crap.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't think they've ever been cleaned out.
They have been.
Behind
They're maintained every year. We get the
the
report.
chiropractors,
Yes.
Yeah.
I've
That
walked
one's
in there
cleaned
with
up.
Bruce, myself,
and
and
then
inspector.
on 52, there was another one.
That one's been
Right.
cleaned also.
But
Yeah.
they're catching water further up by my house on 52
Yeah,
coming
those are
down.
pipes coming under the
And the one
road.
behind the chiropractors catches the water coming off at Terry Hill. I don't think there's anything coming, because there's a stream that runs underneath that 52 from Clarkson back in and around, back out to that lake. And I think that's where the clog is.
Okay.
By the way, so Kathy actually expressed this issue with me a couple weeks ago, or a month ago, or something like that, for these people having the water run down through there. So I literally went and took pictures and videos, not the last storm, but the storm before, which was pretty heavy. It was amazing. I'll show you how much water was ripping through these people's driveways. And like, you know, it made it impossible probably for them to get in and out of the property, no less use it. And so we walked the whole thing. And I've actually been taking pictures of the erosion that's happening in front of the firehouse, you know, with that same stream that's coming down
Right,
through there.
I know the firehouse driveway is beginning to get washed out.
Beginning, it's well into
Right.
it, yeah. And so all that water heads down through the same place. It goes down through there. And it's almost like the stream is either one, moving inward, right? So it's just growing in and in and in, or, you know, there's a change in the way that the water comes off the hill.
That's what I'm wondering, if there's a new avenue of supply to this thing that's
I mean, I know the
changing
2
value.
houses next to the town hall here, the guys replaced his furnace twice this year.
Because the basement got full of water?
Yep.
Oh, that's horrible.
And that water comes off of this property.
Yeah, so maybe you had some beavers up on the property up there that have diverted the stream or
Could be.
something.
Yeah, I mean, he's always had a problem, but I mean, with these substantial rains, it's even worse. So, I mean,
I know they fixed it at one time.
yeah, so the other thing I have, like, get off that subject, and don't take this the wrong way, I like sports as well as everybody else. How long is that sign going to sit out in front of the town hall here?
I was hoping if I left it out there long enough, someone would donate an electric sign for the fun. at
I'm
town
really,
hall.
yeah, me personally, I think you ought to remove the hedge, move the sign out, make it digital so you can make all your announcements out there, and everybody could be able to see the town hall when they come up 52.
I
But
have
this-
one more announcement for it, and then we're taking it away. It's for the cadets. I had a request from the
Okay.
police department to put a thing up there, and then it'll, and
Yeah,
then it'll be with
it's
the rest.
distracting coming in and out of the, coming in, and it's distracting getting out. So, but
That's what
that-
I feel too, Kathy. It's right like toward the edge of the white line.
yeah, put it on the other side of the guardrail, you know, that's all I have.
So
Thank
then
you.
so then go get donations so I can get an electric sign out there so I can put it all on the.
Yep.
I could put everything on there so people would know what was going on. I know.
We good?
Public comment. Or-
Maybe under the existing sign that could go to the town center, maybe a banner that.
Like
you know,
one of
A little
the,
that just-
one of the narrow ones?
something that, you know,
Yeah.
tasteful.
You ready? There's no other public comment, I guess?
Any other public comment?
I'm- I make a motion to go into executive session for potential litigation.
Second.
All in favor?
Is this mine?